My mom kicked me out after dad wrecked my car and told my siblings I was her life's biggest mistake, but my brother's furious response revealed a dark family secret. So I, 21M, have been living at my parents' house due to recent life events. We have a pretty good relationship, but of course we have our moments. Well, about a week ago, my mom was at work and my dad needed to run by the store. He couldn't wait until my mom got back, so he asked to borrow my car. I agreed to let him have it as I didn't have anything going on or anything that I needed to do right then. Well, about 40 minutes later, I get a call from him saying that he had been in an accident. Of course, that scared the crap out of me and I made sure he was okay first. He said he was fine and explained the accident. Long story short, he ran a stop sign and smacked straight ahead into another vehicle. Luckily, no one got seriously injured, except my car. It's busted up pretty bad. Without going into much detail, the bumper, headlights, hood, and parts of the engine are messed up. I got my car in the shop and I'm still waiting on the estimated time it will take for me to get it back. Until then, though, I need a car to get to and from work, and that's where the problem is. See, me and my mom have different work schedules, but they are similar enough to where I could see us working something out. She usually goes in an hour earlier than me and gets off about 30 minutes before me. I figured I could drop her off, go to work, then pick her up. Well, my mom hates that idea. She says that she doesn't want to have to rely on me to pick her up or get her to work on time. She said since she wasn't involved in the accident, she shouldn't be affected by the consequences. I told her it would be just until I got my car back, but she didn't care. I was expecting Dad to back me up, seeing as he's the reason I got into this mess, but instead, he just agreed with her and said I should find a different way. The problem is, there is no different way. There's no good public transportation system in our town, and we live about 45 minutes away from where I work. My dad then suggested I biked to work, which I quickly shut down. I'd rather not have to bike all the way to and from work every day when we could literally just share a car. I told them it was unfair for them not to let me use their car since Dad crashed mine. Then they said I was just being ungrateful as they were already putting a roof over my head and I shouldn't expect much more from them. I have no idea where they even thought I was being ungrateful. All I'm saying is, why would I choose a harder, more time-consuming way to work when there is an easier option? So, am I being unreasonable? I feel like at the least, Dad could convince Mom to let me use their car since this is his fault, but instead, he's just sitting there agreeing with everything she says. I would ask my siblings to chime in on this, but knowing them, they'll just agree with my parents. So, am I the a-hole? Now here are some relevant comments. User 1 said,
OP, this is a tough one. Dad should obviously step up and take care of this, but why isn't the insurance covering a rental while yours is in the shop? Are you living rent-free at your parents'? And not the a-hole.
So, I'm allowed to live with them rent-free as long as I'm saving money in order to move out again. I do buy my own groceries and help with bills though, so it's not like I'm totally living off of them. As far as the rental car goes, apparently that's not something I chose to add to my plan. Something so stupid on my part. Then user 2 commented and said,
Not the a-hole. Your mom's objection is that she doesn't want to rely on you to get her to work on time. Ask her to take you to work and pick you up. Yes, you'll be inconvenienced by the earlier time, but you will have arrived at work without having to take public transportation or a bike ride. Maybe you can start earlier and finish earlier, at least for the short term. Failing that, honestly, your father needs to own his errors here. He wrecked your car. He needs to get you to work while your car is being repaired. Maybe he's got a friend who owes him a big favor. Maybe one of your siblings can do him the favor of loaning you a car. Maybe he can pick out of his pocket to pay for Ubers or a rental. And you have grounds to sue him. He has created a problem that is impacting your ability to work. A court case is the nuclear option though, and I wouldn't drop that bomb until I was already out of their house.
So, I did bring up the idea of her dropping me off and picking me up, but she says it will mess up her schedule and that she doesn't want to wake up any earlier than she has to. I feel like she's just unwilling to even try to share the car. And then finally, user 3 commented and said,
So, do you pay for your own car insurance and upkeep on the car? Also, did you buy your car or did your parents?
So, I bought the car and I pay for the insurance and any maintenance it needs. Update, 1 month later. So, for a little backstory, I, 21M, have been living with my parents due to some recent life events. About a month ago, I made a post here talking about how my dad crashed my car and my mom refused to let me use theirs for my commute to work. Long story short, my parents ended up paying for the expenses to have my car fixed. We did also end up sharing a car until I had mine's back. After that, I thought it was done and over. My mom made a comment about it here and there, but it didn't seem to seriously bother her until about a week and a half ago. She demanded that I pay them all the money for my car expenses back. She said it wasn't fair she lost money to an accident she didn't cause, and I think that's fair, but I reminded her that I didn't cause it either. Dad caused the accident, and I told her I'm sorry that it ended up affecting her as well. but that didn't change the fact that my car had to be fixed and it was Dad's responsibility. She got really mad at that and started on a rant about how it was unfair and I was using them for money. And what was my dad's response to all of this? He just agreed with her. I ended up just telling her what I've already said because there was honestly nothing else to say. She's been very upset with me since then, but she never mentioned any possibility of kicking me out. So imagine my surprise a couple of days ago when I come home to all of my stuff being outside of the house in boxes, literally on the curb. I was honestly shocked and mad about this, and I immediately went into the house to question my parents about this. My mom said that she was tired of letting someone so ungrateful live in her house. My dad just repeated what my mom said, but in a kinder way because I guess he thought she was being harsh. But I couldn't believe it. I asked her to explain how I have been ungrateful, and she responded by basically saying, "We raised you." We went back and forth for a bit, and we're both pretty mad at each other. Then my mom told me to leave the house or else she would call the police on me. I have no idea if anything actually would have come of that situation, but at this point I was so confused and angry that I just went outside and called around to find someone I was able to stay with. I ended up sleeping at a friend's house. It's been a couple of days now and siblings have both been calling me. I guess my parents must have told them what happened. I'm assuming it was specifically my mom bad-talking me to them. My sister agrees with my mom and says I should have just paid the money back. My brother agrees that it was unfair for them to kick me out, but also says I should have just paid the money back. My dad has also been trying to reach me, but honestly, I've just been too mad to pick up the phone for him. I'm just so shocked by the whole situation. I wouldn't say me and my parents' relationship has always been easy street, but it's never been this bad. I honestly thought we were good until all of this. The worst part is I was planning to move out and rent an apartment with a friend once their lease was up in 2 months. My parents knew that and still decided to do this. I'm just so confused and I don't understand where they're coming from. I get they raised me and took care of me and all of that, but I just feel like that doesn't give them the right to do this all of a sudden. I don't think I did anything wrong. So honestly, am I the a-hole in this situation? Then in the comments section, one user said,
OP, you're not responsible for the accident, so there's no way you're responsible for the money. It's fine if they want you out, but that's not the way to do it. Do your best, find a place, live your life. When they come crawling back, tell them to F off. And warn your siblings that they will probably do the same to them.
So, I probably should have said this in the post, but my siblings are older than me. My sister is in her late 20s and my brother is in his early 30s. They are already well off and out of the house. I honestly think that's another point of tension with my mom because right now, in her own words, I'm the only kid of hers that is failing at life. Update number 2. Next day. So some things have happened since my last post. I calmed down a bit and decided to finally answer one of my dad's phone calls. He started talking about how afraid he was that I was never going to talk to them again. Then he said things weren't supposed to go that way the other day and apologized for my mom putting my stuff outside. Apparently, the plan was to talk to me about it first, but he said my mom got caught up in her emotions. When I asked him why he didn't step in, he said it was because he didn't want to upset her anymore. I didn't really want to accept that excuse, but I took it so we could move forward. That was until I got another call from my brother. Mom has been absolutely crap-talking me to him and my sister. Apparently, she kept comparing me to them and how good they're doing. Mind you, they are both older than me by several years. Then she went on a rant about how much harder it's been to raise me compared to them. At one point, he says that she even insinuated that I was a mistake. Though he says to take that with a grain of salt as she did not outright say it, my brother was uncomfortable with listening to her talk about me so harshly and he decided to call and tell me. And I'm just feeling a mix of emotions about all of this right now. Part of me is still mad about the whole suddenly kicking me out thing, but I'm mostly just sad about it all. Knowing that my mom is saying all this stuff behind my back only makes me think that she really means it. And whether she outright said it or not, hearing that she thinks I'm a mistake honestly crushed my soul. I don't understand why, but I guess she has her reasons. I don't really want to talk to her again, but I do really want to know the truth of why she feels this way about me. I'm not sure about Dad yet. I'm not the type to cut people off, and having to do it to one person is already too much for me. I'm still staying with my friend as of now until I figure out what I'm going to do. I guess I'll see how it goes from here. Then in the comments section, OP elaborates on having a plan or not since his parents kicked him out earlier than expected and said, "Not yet. Before they kicked me out, my plan was to get an apartment with a friend of mine once their lease was up in a couple of months. But I'm not sure how that will go since now I need a new place to stay. My friend said I can stay at his place as long as I need to, but I don't really want to intrude on his space for too long." Then one user commented and said,
Question, do you have any extended family you could stay with? Or at least tell them what happened before your egg donor of a mom lies to them about what happened? Stay strong, and I recommend little to no contact with both of your parents as your dad is spineless, And unless he pays you for both the car and a new apartment, as you do not want to go back to living in that hellhole, tell him he made his decision to abandon you in your time of need, so you will abandon him as well.
So, all of my extended family lives in other states. I don't really have any kind of relationship with any of them. Then user 2 commented and said,
When you said your siblings were older than you, how much? Your mom might have said that because they accidentally had you in their late lives, or maybe they thought of you as an accident.
So, my sister is 28 and my brother is in his 30s. And then finally, OP elaborates on why his siblings are taking his mother's side and said, So, I think my sister just has a better connection with my mom than she does with me. As for my brother, he says he thinks the best solution to most problems is the one that causes the least problems. So, he thinks if I would have just paid them back, this wouldn't have happened. Update number 3. 4 days later. So, a lot more has happened over the last few days. First, I went back home the other day to grab some important things I needed. I wanted to go back over there until I knew my mom would be at work and tried to make it quick because I didn't particularly want to see my dad either. While I was there, I did tell him what my mom had said about me. He did seem shocked that she would say that to me or my siblings, but then I asked if this is the first time she has ever said that, and he admitted that she's told him that more than a few times. When asked if he knew why, he just told me that she has her reasons, but they're not my fault. I tried to get him to explain more, but that's really as far as he would go. I don't really know how I should feel about that, but I just went with it. I asked if that's how he felt about me too, and he said it's not and that he loves me. And it hasn't really felt like that's true, and I wanted to say that to him, but I just ended up saying, okay. I told him I'm cutting mom off completely, and him too for now. And after that, I just took my stuff and left. Then fast forward to a couple of days ago, I got a very angry series of messages from my sister about how horrible I am for turning our brother against our mom. She said I made mom cry and that I should be ashamed of myself. Needless to say, I had no idea what she was talking about. As far as I knew, my brother wasn't against anyone in this situation, so I was just confused. I tried to ask her to explain, but I should know by now that I never get an answer from that. So instead, I called my brother to ask him directly. Apparently, mom found out that I knew about what she said. I'm assuming dad told her. Then she called my brother and screamed at him for going behind her back and telling me. To which he responded that she was the only one saying these things behind people's backs and that she was being unreasonably mean to me for no real reason. He told her she should get her priorities straight and go yell at dad for causing this whole thing. Then he told her not to call him again if all she was going to do was yell about someone or something else. And I honestly wasn't expecting that from my brother. He is not the type to step into conflict if he doesn't have to. But obviously, her yelling at him set him off. I'm not trying to say I'm happy she did that, but I am happy my brother responded the way he did. Obviously, she cares more about what he thinks than she does me. I told my brother about what dad says, and he agrees his response feels weird. And I asked if he possibly knows why since he's a bit older than me, but he's just as shocked about this as I am. He also said he would talk to my sister about everything and get her to back off. So now I'm waiting to see how things will go with that. Like I said before, I'm not the type to cut people off, but if my mom is just going to use my sister to talk to me, I'm going to block her too. Also, as far as housing goes, I decided to take up my friend on his offer and stay until my other friend's lease is up. And that's the update for now. Now here are some more relevant comments. User 1 said,
This whole situation is so odd. In your past post, you said you believe your father is your biological father, but what about your mother? Is she your biological mother?
Honestly, I don't know at this point. I don't understand why they're being so cryptic about it. I will say I feel like I can see some of my mom's features on me, but I guess that may not mean anything. And then finally, user 2 commented and said,
Okay, so I'm confused. Do you have baby pictures with your mom in the hospital or like recently pregnant with you shortly after you were born? I get the logistics behind being unsure of paternal lineage, but maternal lineage?
So, I'm sure there probably are. I've just never seen them. I really doubt they're not my parents, honestly. It's just my dad's response made it all seem weirder. So, what do you guys think on this story?
I'm gonna be honest, as for the hidden reasoning behind all of this, I don't think it's anything complicated. I think she's just a hateful person. Like maybe OP's an affair child or there was something going on before he was born, but I just feel like she's like, oh, you're 21, you should be moved out by now and have kids and a picket fence and all that. Look at your siblings who are way ahead of you in life and much older and far more established. Why aren't you like them? Why aren't you a doctor yet? Rub my feet.
And also, the father is a wet
doormat who is just being stepped all over by the mother, no spine, beta behavior, isn't standing up for his son. But I feel like maybe the dad is still salvageable here. Maybe OP should share his post with his dad so that he can see his weak, pathetic self through his adoring son's eyes and then realize, oh, I suck. Oh my God, I should stand up to this abusive woman. But anyway, guys, comment what you think. We're at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Have a really good day and bye-bye.